Nobody produced it. Nobody produced it. Nobody produced it.
The NASA pictures, thermal images show those sorts of temperatures in the basement.
I had a point, I just lost it. The metal you see, or the picture you see of the South Tower with what appears to be molten metal flowing out of the building before it collapsed. NIST described that. They said what that was aluminum. Now, an interesting thing about aluminum, I said that all metals will glow a certain temperature, will produce a certain color at a certain temperature. Well, the problem with aluminum is its emissivity is so low that in daylight you don't appreciate that glow. What you see is a silvery kind of color. And so NIST said that what that was aluminum, and the reason it was glowing orange is it had organic matter in this aluminum. Well, that would be a fairly simple test to show us that that's possible. They didn't do that test. Stephen Jones did, and he didn't get anything glowing. It still looked silvery to him. So, again,
somebody attempted that on a YouTube video, and it's a huge failure. I mean, you can't, all the little clumps of anything that's glowing are just sort of floating to the top, and it still looks silvery.
Yeah, yeah. And again, this would have been a very simple thing for NIST to do with their budget. You know, why didn't they show us? That's what they're going to say. Again and again and again, you find NIST just making assertions and absolutely not backing them up whatsoever. If our kids learn science from the way NIST does things, you know, we're in deep trouble. Okay, so is there evidence of accelerants to explain the molten steel? Well, yes, there is. And this is the first page of an article that is in a peer-reviewed journal. It's by Stephen Jones and several other authors. And in this paper, they describe what they found in the dust. They got 4 samples of dust, WTC dust, and they investigated it. And they found these little chips that were red on one side and gray on the other, and started investigating those chips. And it turns out that on the red side, they found material that appears to be a type of thermite. And thermite is a mixture of iron oxide, which is like rust, and elemental aluminum. And it's very fine particles intermixed. And once those particles are ignited, and it takes a very large temperature to ignite these, a blowtorch won't do it. It takes a magnesium flare of some sort to get the temperatures high enough. But once it ignites, then it releases a huge amount of energy and produces molten iron as a byproduct of the reaction. They found in this study, not only did they find thermite, but they found a type of thermite they call nanothermite. Now, nanothermite is the same basic idea, except the particles are much, much smaller and much more highly intermixed. This results in a more exothermic reaction that may be explosive, or maybe it is explosive. I'm not sure, but it certainly could be. And it's a very high-tech thing. Like Richard Gage was fond of saying, it's not made in a cave in Afghanistan. This stuff is made at Lawrence Livermore Lab and places like that. And so they've got a paper that says this. Now, if we lived in a society where we really did have the free speech that we're told we do, this is the kind of thing that would be on the front page of every paper. It would be talked about on every newscast. They would be saying, "Oh my God, look what they found." But as it is, it's very difficult to get anybody to talk about this. I have seen an interview with the first author, Niels Erik, on Danish TV. It was a very straight-up interview. The people were asking decent questions. They weren't ridiculing them at all. It was a great job. We're hoping to try and get somebody here. Maybe Amy Goodman at Democracy Now! Might be interested in interviewing Stephen Phillips. I'm actually going to be talking to Amy. I'm going to have dinner with her on Thursday night, and I'm going to be talking to her about this. Foreknowledge. Awareness of something before it happens or exists.
He came back over with his hand over the radio, and it would sound like a countdown. And at the last few seconds, he took his hand off, and you heard 3, 2, 1, and he was just saying, "Just run for your life, just run for your life." And then it was like another 2, 3 seconds. You heard explosions,
the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago, I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing, and indeed it has. Apparently that's only a few hundred yards away from where the World Trade Center towers were. And it seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
As you can see behind me, the Trade Center appears to be still burning. We see these huge clouds of smoke and air.
I believe they said they were very sorry about this. That's about all they said.
I went down to the scene and we set up headquarters at Barclay Street, which was right there, Commissioner, the head of operations, Commissioner. When we were told that we could actually get out of the building, so we were trapped in the building for 10, 15 minutes.
I thought I had this problem fixed. I had a lot of problem importing some of these movie clips and they would do this. I thought I had them all fixed. What he said there was that they were in some command center on Barclay Street and they were told that one of the twin towers was going to collapse. But before they could get out, it did collapse and they were trapped in the building for 15 or 20 minutes before they could get out.
World Trade Center 7 had always been considered the starting point for rebuilding. Located north of the slurry wall, 7 had been cleared faster than the rest of the site, and there had been no bodies to recover. Pelted by debris when the North Tower collapsed, 7 burned until late afternoon, allowing occupants to evacuate to safety.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they would be able to contain the fire. I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. In response to this pull. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
That was Larry Silverstein, a.k.a. Lucky Larry. He purchased these buildings just before 9/11 and took out huge insurance policies and got paid billions of dollars. He uses the term pull it there, and they've gone back. I mean, people think, well, gee, does that mean controlled demolition? Does that mean you demolish the building on purpose? And he's trying to say, no, what I meant was to pull the firemen out of the building. Well, there's two problems with that. I don't know that I would use it if I want to pull them. I would pull them, I'm not going to pull it. But also, the firemen had already were not in the building at the time. They were not fighting that fire. There's been some other pretty lame excuses for how that might mean something other than what it appears to mean.
Can you play that again, Mark?
World Trade Center 7 had always been considered the starting point for rebuilding. Located north of the slurry wall, 7 had been cleared faster than the rest of the site, and there had been no bodies to recover. Pelted by debris when the North Tower collapsed, 7 burned until late afternoon, allowing occupants to evacuate to safety.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they would be able to contain the fire. I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. In response to this pull. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.